Citizen Smith.
Here's a man who would not take it anymore. A man who stood up against the scum, the dogs, the filth. Here is someone who stood up.
It's time for Citizen Smith.
It is time for Citizen Smith. How are you today? Your daily talk show, weekdays, Monday through Friday.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. Oh,
I'm
fine, thank you.
Talking
Thank
to
you.
the audience. I don't
Fine.
really care about you.
I'm fine, thank you.
And yeah, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. live. So you can chat anytime you want to comment. Feel free. Text, send your chat, agree, disagree, add an opinion. We will return to taking phone calls in due time. But in the meantime, chat's just fine with me. If you got something to say, we'll read it. Got to put my glasses on. Putin, Biden, they had a meeting in Geneva, a summit. Few hours, they went back and forth and talked. And the end result? Kumbaya! Yep, that's how President Biden described it. Quote, "This is not kumbaya moment," Mr. Biden said. He told Mr. Putin, "But it's clearly not in anybody's interest, your country's or mine, for us to be in a situation where we're in another Cold War." Interesting terminology. Cold War. Are we in a Cold War already or not? When you start doing cyber attacks and crimes against humanity and starting wars, I'm referring to Russia, that are going against America's interests, challenging America's military, I feel we're in a Cold War. These cyber attacks are Cold War tactics, even worse than the Cold War tactics. Cold War tactics, all right, they had the missiles in Cuba, but when you start launching in cyber attacks, that's an act of war. Cold War. It's not a military attack, but these cyber attacks are right up there with military impact. They got into our computer system that runs the nuclear arms and missiles that we launch. That's a Cold War tactic. So anyway, Biden says that it was not a kumbaya moment. Justin, could you help me out? What is kumbaya again?
I don't know. Kumbaya,
I mean, where the hell? Yeah, kumbaya.
Hey, man.
It's
Hey,
kumbaya, my
Peace.
lord.
Peace, man.
Kumbaya.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Please stop.
Where did Biden get that term? I mean, sometimes the stuff he uses, the words he chooses for his descriptions, everybody was getting short with the news reporters. Biden was getting short and then had to apologize. Putin didn't like it at all. He was questioned by an ABC reporter. She's the African-American reporter who's very good. Rachel Scott, I believe it. And Rachel Scott.
I don't know.
Yeah. And she's a really, really good. She's been making progress in the ABC News network because of her work during the election coverage. And she was one of the few Americans allowed into Putin's press conference, which, by the way, all the press was trying to get into it. And they were like, ah!
Back off!
And the Russian security were trying to keep them back. You can't do that. Get it back. Because they were only allowing so many people in, and there was space limitation because of COVID probably. And but she got in. She was approved already. And asked no, it's not right. Where is the... Yeah, there we go. ABC News, Rachel Scott. I think that's the one, yeah. She's the one that really laid into Putin with questions, and everybody was shocked. She asked him about all the people that he was imprisoning, people that had been killed that were opponents to him in the political arena. She said, quote, "The list of your political opponents who are dead, imprisoned, or jailed is long, and you have now prevented anyone who supports Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny to run for office." That was in parentheses. So my question is, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of? Oh boy, Putin's never been addressed with a question like that from the press in Russia, you can bet your ass. And he was just put off by it. He was very, very irritated and completely avoided the question. And then was pointing to America, that she was talking about. He went on to say things about our problems with the riots, and I don't know, something had nothing to do with the question. So she went back with another question. Well, you didn't answer my question, she said. And I just love the way this American reporter, African American too, by the way, and I don't know if that's the reason that she was surrounded by Russian reporters afterwards. She was like a celebrity. A woman, B, African American, C, U.S. reporter. Put it all together, and the Russians were like, who is this woman who would dare to say such things and ask such questions?
Just the fact she's a woman, they don't like that.
But I was going to play the audio here off of my own thing here because I just wanted to. Here we go. All right.
We can't hear that.
On if cyber attacks from Russia do not stop.
That's goofy.
I'm curious, what did he tell you? Did he make any threats? And a quick follow-up, if I may, sir. The list of your political opponents who are dead, imprisoned, or jailed is long. Alexei Navalny's organization calls for free and fair elections, an end to corruption. But Russia has outlawed that organization, calling it extremist. And you have now prevented anyone who supports him to run for office. So my question is, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Oh, wow. What a question. People were
I can't hear you. You're too far from the mic. I can't hear you.
Let me reiterate what was already said.
And then his response.
Various so-called foreign agents.
Now we got to listen to the bullshit.
And about people who are positioning themselves as the non-systemic opposition. I already answered your colleague from CNN, man.
I think the response is just, you know.
We could have just Bluetooth that into here.
I know, brother. I'm winging it today, man.
You could have sounded better though.
Anyway, I'm sure a goddamn audience heard it fine. Fuck. I gotta take a coffee break. My point is that this gal's got some.
I like her.
She's got some chutzpah.
We like her.
Well, no, I when she asked that question, as a reporter myself over many years, I know what kind of nerve and brashness and boldness to go ahead as a reporter in this international forum against one of the craziest, meanest, deadliest guys in the world.
What's her name again?
Rachel Scott. I've been following her since the election. And that was, when I saw that yesterday in the news, I was like, whoo, wow, good, nicely done. And like I said, all the Russian reporters surrounded her when she left the building. And they were interviewing on ABC News, David Muir, and John Muir, a great environmentalist. David Muir, was interviewing. He was like, what was that like? How was you were surrounded? And she just said to the reporters, I have no comment on the matter. Gave the Russian reporters the no comment response, which I thought was great because I was like, what did she say? That would be awkward. Anyway, I'm happy to see reporters. I can't wait till when is Biden going to be meeting Xi Jinping for a summit? Because that's got to be in the drawing board following up after the Russian summit. in Geneva. And then I want to see Rachel back in the press conference room going after President Xi with tough questions.
Oh, man.
Because you know the Chinese don't even dare ask a question. When he does a press conference, they stand like this.
President, thank you so much for taking my question.
Yeah, she's a number, man. She's
She had a second question there if you want to bring it up.
I was
There's a
trying to
follow-up
find it.
question,
Yeah, we were
yeah.
trying to find it. So.
Boy, that sounds so much better on the Bluetooth.
Hey, man, you know, you're so used to theater of the mind, we forget.
Well, I'm so used to doing this in my damn apartment by myself, 500 miles away or whatever. No, seriously, when I did phone interviews, I'm holding the phone up to the speaker. Hey, is that right? So you're right. I keep forgetting we have the Bluetooth thing. I just could have shot it right over there. Technology we've got here is state of the art, and I keep forgetting it. Anyway, we'll keep following the Biden. The thing that came out of this summit, though, was nothing came out of it that he's telling us. Whatever they talked about, he ain't talking about it. He's not telling us a thing. He was just like, you know what? We got a chance to meet face to face. That's better than on the phone. Any other questions? Any other questions? We met. We talked. Nothing really happened. I didn't expect anything to happen. And that's the end of the summit. I'm getting on the plane. I'll see you later.
I rubbed some oil on him. He got on his horse.
Yeah.
He went for a ride.
Yeah. And so there you go. That was the big summit. Well, they say one step forward, right? And leads us to progress. So, talking about progress, deep breath. I had to wait a couple of days before I could even address this one. The indictment of a Portland police officer for striking a woman, a young girl. I say young girl, college age maybe, with his baton twice in a protest in August with all the protests were going on. And I was watching this on KATU, K2, Channel 5, ABC News, local. And they did a great job covering it. There was a female news reporter doing it, and she was very emotional after they showed the footage of this what was just a vicious strike behind the head to this innocent girl just standing there who said she was going to try to help her friend. And the police officer, Corey Budworth, is being charged with one count of fourth-degree assault. Tuesday, the district attorney's office filed the charge after an indictment by a grand jury. They showed the footage on the TV twice. Not once, twice. And each time I watched it, I got to be honest with you, I got emotional.
Well, I'm not going to show it, but they can go to your show page when it's over, and they can watch it there at Talkcast PDX. We'll post it on your
You're
show
linking
page.
it up?
Yeah, but I mean, I'll play the audio, but I don't really want to show it because I just think it's brutal. It's just, dude, listen, these guys are rebel rousing, and they just.
Officers are taking lawful action.
Oh,
Stay on the sidewalk.
that click you hear, that's him hitting her in the head.
Okay, if you could stop talking now and play it again, and let's just hear it without any sound behind it. And crank it up a little.
Let's see here. We got it.
Well, that sounds like you're in a damn sci-fi movie. One hit. Two hits.
Officers are taking lawful action. Stay on the sidewalk.
Wow.
There you go.
They didn't play that on the kid. That audio didn't come out in the news.
No. Yeah, there you go.
This girl did everything right in nonviolent protest. Okay, so she's trying to get away from the police officer after she said in this article that I'm reading on K2 that she's just trying to help a friend, and then she tried to get away from the situation because it was getting violent. And the police officer in the video, which is clearly shown by obviously a fellow protester taking it, smashes her two-handed Bam! Behind the back of the neck. This gal's half the size of this police officer, Corey Budworth, who the TV reporter said had prior complaints for overuse of force. And then she sprawls onto the ground. And what's the poor girl do? Exactly what a nonviolent protest is supposed to do. And I'm sure they've been coached a little, maybe, about, because it was very proper. She falls to the ground. She's obviously going to be scared at this point, right? A cop's smashing her behind the head. She's never felt such pain, never been in a situation like this. She's a young kid, man. She's like 19, 20 years old. I don't know. Half the size of this big 6'4", whatever Budworth is. So she turns and gets on the ground, crosses her legs and holds her arms like this and puts her head forward and doesn't say a thing, just does a proper non-protest like Gandhi, suggested and coached when they protested in India. And that was the end of it, right? She's not challenging the officer. She's not doing anything violent. And he comes up and then smashes her two-handed again with the baton right into the forehead. Her neck snaps back and she lands on her back. And then he walks away, gives her a glance one more time and takes off. And you can see all this in the video. And it's just vicious. It's completely uncalled for. It's why we need police reform. And I'm so happy that this guy's going to be held accountable in a court of law. The days of police brutality for no reason is over. You know why? Because people have cameras everywhere they go on their phones. And you can't get away with it.
It just doesn't seem to help, though, sometimes. Even if they do film it, it seems like sometimes that's not enough.
Well, it is enough in this case. And the thing is, this girl was no threat to this guy, and he knew it. So what was wrong with him?
He's getting his fucking jollies off by beating up on people.
Not just a person, but a young girl, thin, small little gal. God, I felt so bad. But I'm so glad justice is going to prevail, and I want to see this guy go to jail. Probably won't. They paid her a $50,000 restitution, the city did. She should have got $1 million. She's got an attorney. Maybe they'll get more from the city after this, but she probably said, the point is, the commissioner came on in the interview on the news of Portland. He's completely supported what the police officer did. He said that's how they were trained. The news reporter says to him then and asks, but the way if you say that's how they're trained to respond, then they've been trained in a criminal capacity to respond, because this was determined to be a criminal act, allegedly. Until proven in a court of law. But he's being convicted, this cop, for a criminal act. And obviously, when you watch this video, there's no reason, it's unprovoked attack on a civilian. And there's no reason for the response, the violent response. And for the police commissioner not to acknowledge that and be watching the same video we are watching, and the police union, of course, didn't. The police... the grand jury decision, the police chief and Ted Wheeler didn't really come out and say anything against it. Ted Wheeler, the mayor, and the police commissioner released their own statements, neither one saying anything about... What they should have said was, if I'm the mayor, I say this. First, what the mayor said is, as mayor, I hold Portland Police Bureau members to a very high standard of professional conduct. Our city experienced over 170 days of protest following the murder of George Floyd. And I also want to acknowledge that our officers faced great risk and protected our city in extreme conditions, end quote. That was his statement about this. What he should have said, I'm mayor, I say this. Look, we've been through some terrible times in Portland. We've had very violent protests. But in this case, we were wrong. The police were wrong. The actions were wrong. I watched the video like everybody else, and I can see that we have a problem in police training and response, and we need to correct it, and I, as mayor, will make sure it happens. That's not what we got. We got a complete disallowing the issue that this video raises about how police should be responding and trained, about criminal behavior that is prevalent in our lifetime with police responding to civilians in protests. I mean, we have a history of this in America. Our response as police forces in riot gear is violence against violence. And as a society, it's time for us to grow up and get away from that mentality. And this video is a prime example of what's wrong with the system of police violence and how they handle riots. They're trained to be violent and react like a military against an enemy force, rather than a civilian police force against citizens of this country who are merely exercising their protests, which they're constitutionally guaranteed in freedom of expression of this country. There, I got it out. It's over. I'm done. But I want to see progress made here. I don't want to see these videos anymore. I don't want to see our young kids getting beaten up for no reason by police. And I always say, the police in this city have a tough job. They do. But that doesn't mean we're on the right track right now. We're not on the right track. We got a long ways to go. We can do better, America. That's the word that we're trying to convey over the last year since George Floyd and everything else we've seen in this past year of violence between police and civilians. We can do a lot better. And it starts with the leaders of the city, the mayor, the commissioner of the police, and the police union coming out publicly and saying, we need to improve, we need to change. That's exactly the message they should have said after this video went viral and the newscast was showing it again and this indictment was served. Now we got to watch this. How this plays out is going to be very important in how the city cleanses itself and covers up its wounds of the past year and heals. That's all I have to say on that matter. I don't know. It's an early show to end now, but I think I'll just end at that note. I got to regroup for tomorrow.
It took so much out of you.
No, this one took a lot out of me, man. I watched that emotionally. I'm still being bothered by it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I just wanted to remind people though, we're not going to play the video because I don't want to, promote it or show it.
Go to K2 and see it for yourself. Just go to K2, K-A-T-U.
No. Go to talkcastpdx.com to your show page and we'll have it posted there.
We'll link it to K2.
They can watch it right there. It was on YouTube, so.
All right. Well, very good. And everybody should watch it because this is a prime example of what's wrong, a girl doing what's right as a protester, and why we have an issue that needs to be resolved. And Terry Jacobs, I feel sorry for you, but thanks for standing up for your rights and doing the right thing. I applaud your efforts. You're a stellar citizen. Have a great day.